Alright farmers, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking cows. So we've got a couple of options to start with. You've got barns or you've got a pasture. There is a couple of differences. Now on all of them there is some similarities. So you come up to all of them and you've got the paw print. So that will bring up your animal dialog box. So you click on that and then it will bring you into this one. You can pick all your different options of what you want to do. Now if you use the animal dialog box, you do get charged a fee for the animals to be delivered to you. So in this case it's going to be £50 for the calves and then £80 and £100 for the older ones respectively. Now you can go down the route of going to the animal dealer and buying them there and transporting them yourself, but then you've got to buy the animal trailer. So that should be something you want to factor into it all. Now the difference between the pasture and the barns is you've got to put water in. We'll come on to that in a minute. Then you also got your food icon, input, whatever you want to call it, and then you've got your output. So you're going to get milk from your cows obviously, but with this one, with the pasture, you don't put straw in, so that would mean you don't get manure out, and I would imagine as it's on grass you're not going to get slurry either. We'll have a look at that later, we'll see what happens. So we've got the barns here. You've got three options on the barns. You've got the normal cow barn, you've got a large cow barn, and then you've got the one at the end there which is the large cow barn with the feeding robot. So all of this here is all under your construction menu. So we go into that and then we go across to animals and then down cows. There we are. So we've got the pasture, 75 grand. We've got cow barn which we've got placed there, which is 254 grand, and that will hold 45 cows. You've got the cow barn large which is 518.5 grand to buy, and it will hold 80 cows, which is exactly the same inside as the normal cow barn, just bigger. And then we've got the other one that we've also placed is cow barn with the feeding robot. So we'll take a look at that as well, but that's where you're going to find them. Now also what you got in the middle there is there is no option of output for manure. So what you're going to want to do is to buy that, you're going to want to go to production, no, not production, you want to go to buildings, silo extensions, and then across to there, manure heap extension. Now it doesn't have to be right up against your cow barn, but it does need to be pretty close, which is why we put it where we have, right in the middle. So that'll be where your manure comes in. You don't have to muck out the cows, you don't have to do any of that. Your cows will carry on producing their milk, and the manure will then end up in this manure heap extension in the middle. Right, so that's where you get it all. So on the cow barns here, you've got an output here, which we'll find out which one that is, either slurry or milk. And then coming through here and open this door, and you've got a nice drive through, and this is your feeding point. This is where you put your hay, your straw and your TMR in, or your silage, whichever you're deciding to feed your cows with. And out this side, we'll open the door up again, you've got the animal dialog point where you can put your animals in, and then we've got another output here. So we'll find out a bit later which one's which on taking out of your product. So this is the cow barn, and the cow barn large is exactly the same but just bigger. Over here we've got the cow barn with feeding robot. The difference over here is you don't have to do a lot, to be fair. What you put in here, you put your silage in there, you put your straw in there, and you put your grass in there. Then what happens on the hour, nets will come down and the robot will come over, it will take some silage out, take some straw out, take some grass or hay out, and it will make TMR for your cows, because TMR is the best food to feed your cows. That's a top tip for you. I know it's a bit of extra work to get going, but if you want to do it properly, if you want to get your most out of your cows, you need to feed them TMR. So that robot will do it, and it will come out of this little door here. It'll come all the way around here, and then it will go through here. We'll open that door up, and then it will put the mix in this trough right here. So you've got that option there. You can feed the cows yourself if you really want to. That's entirely up to you, or you can just put it in these bunkers here, just the other side of this netting, and it will do it for you. What that will do is keep a constant supply to your animals, so you haven't got to worry about coming back and feeding them. And then the same as before, outside you've got your animal dialogue box, and you've got your output point there. So what we'll do, I'll get some animals in and we'll take a look. Okay, so we've got some cows in here. I've put 10 in each, 10 at the brown Swiss. So this is a small barn. Hop over the fence. I've put 10 in the cow barn with feeding robot over there, and I've put 10 all the way over here in the pasture, and they're ready to go. Very nice indeed. Nice animation on the animals, you know, laying down, standing up, eating. They look really great. Really great indeed. Look at that one standing up there. Excellent. Right, so we'll get these filled up. I'm going to show you where you need to put everything in. So we've got this tractor here. We'll start it up. Now when I tried this out earlier on, this tractor trailer is really tall and it struggles to get in the door. So what we'll do, we'll just back it up, because you can put the straw in really close to the edge. Like so. So it gives you that, back it right in, it gives you that unloading option. Oh yeah, we've gone right in now. We're going to get stuck coming out. Right, so that's the straw going into that one. Oh, we're out. Obviously, as I said before, there's no straw point for the pasture, so nothing's coming up. So we'll put the rest of this in the silo part for the robot. Back it in there. Oh, it's having a bit of a wobbler. Right, so that's all the straw unloaded. We'll go and get the rest in. Right, so I've got myself a trailer full of silage. So we'll go and put some of this in here for these cows. Oh, maybe not, it doesn't take silage. That's interesting. Okay, so we'll go and unload some in here for the robot. We'll just have a look, see what the paddock actually takes. There we are, so we'll unload that there. Well, that silo is bigger than the other two, so I'd imagine it's probably going to take all of this. It's in the TMR mix. It's going to take more silage than straw and grass. No, hay. Yeah, it's hay. Okay. Right, I'll carry on and get the silage done. Right, just a quick note here. I'm in the small or cow barn, whatever you want to call it, and the trigger is not being activated for the silage. So I've had a look in the menu. It's got there cow barn with feeding robot. It takes total mixed ration, hay and grass. Now this is if you're delivering it yourself. So if you're going to put it in with your trailer like I am now, you can only put in total mixed ration, hay and grass. Cow barn is exactly the same. Now the brown Swiss in the cow pasture is also saying total mixed ration, hay and grass. So if you've got silage, then you're only going to be able to put that in the cow barn with the roebuck. So that makes the total mixed ration out of the lot. So that is an interesting find indeed. Right, so I'm going to get rid of this silage and we'll come back with some TMR. Right, so I've gone and got a different trailer, because when I tried to get out after having the test with the silage, I couldn't get back out, got stuck. So we've got this smaller one, we've got the crampy half pipe, and as you can see there, it's now giving us the option, if the camera stops messing around, of putting total mixed ration in. So there we go, we'll drop that in. So if you're doing it yourself, if you've got one of these cow barns, or you've got the robot cow barn, whoa, hold on, it's having a right wobbler there. That's interesting. How's it going to come down? That was a bit scary. And he tipped us over. Right, as I was saying, if you're doing it yourself and you've got this cow barn or the cow barn large, or you're not going to be using the robot, you need to have something that's going to fit through the doorway like that. Otherwise you're going to get stuck and crash into the side of the wall like I just did. Okay, I'm going to get the rest of these filled up and then we'll see what happens next. Right, so that's something interesting. So we've put into the robot cow barn, we put silage, we put straw, and we've put hay, but on the menu it's saying that it takes hay and grass, but I've got grass in the back of this trailer and it's not taking it. And also something else that's a bit strange is that when it came to the pasture, because we put the TMR in first, that's not taking the grass either. Look, we'll drive up to the point, the unload point, and it's not taking the grass. If we go down to that one, they're saying it's full of TMR and it wouldn't take the hay or the grass. So that leads me to wonder, if you've got TMR, which is supposed to be the best food to feed your cows, do you need any of the other things? It says down the bottom there, total mixed ration effectiveness 100%. Hay gives you an effectiveness of 80% and grass effectiveness of 40%. So if you've got the top food there, you shouldn't need the others. That's very interesting. That's something that you need to think about, you know. If you're going to go to all the effort of making your TMR, then why bother with the rest? Alright, I'll go get some water for these cows and then we'll fast forward a little bit and we'll have a look at the robot in action. Right, so I've got my water tanker. So we'll pull up here. You don't need to do it in the cow barns, any of them, because you're paying so much for the building itself that the water gets plumbed in for you. But with the pasture, you do need to put the water in. So we'll do that there. You see the water coming down now, that's going into that trough. So then that means all the animals are fed and watered nicely. There we are. That's full up. So what we'll do, we'll wait for the robot. Right, there you have it. Robot's finished doing its thing. Now there is one thing to note. I did go through a couple of hours worth of trialing with all this, and it's supposed to start itself off on the hour, but it didn't work until I came around the corner here and put a pallet of mineral feed in there. So you'll find that in the shop menu under pallets, all the way at the end, the mineral feed. So the robot didn't start its thing until that was there, ready to go. So just keep that in mind, because your robot won't feed your cows at all until that's put in. Right, so that's that done. So all the cows are fed, the pasture's been watered. I'm going to fast forward a month now, and we'll see how much milk we get out of each different each different one. Right, I'll see you in a month. Right, so we fast forwarded a month. Let's see where the milk actually comes out of these barns. So we'll try this one first. Right, it's not giving us an option to unload there. Go around the other side with the other unloading point. Right by the animal dialogue box. Ah, there we are. Right, so for the cow barns, you're going to want the unloading point by the animal dialogue box. So the other side is going to be the output for the slurry. So as for the test, we'll just make sure that the robot cow barn is the same. We'll drive around this side by the animal dialogue box. It's there. And there we are. We've got the start filling option has come up. Then just to cover all the bases, we'll go over to the pasture, because that should only have one dialogue box, one output box there. And there we have it. That's where you start filling. So that's the 3 outputs that you need for your milk. So then we'll have a look in here. So for the robot cow barn, it's made 833 litres in a month. The normal cow barn has made 1,156 litres, and the same for the pasture. So what looks like to me there is because of the amount of time that was wasted by not putting the mineral feed in, had an impact on the actual milk output. So it looks roughly to be the same amount in all of them. We put the same cows in, the same amount of cows, 10 each. So that being said, there doesn't look to be much of a difference for the output as long as you're putting the right amount of feed in. Right, also, once your milk, well, not also once your milk's done, whilst your milk's being done, the barns produce manure. So that manure heap extension that we put in the middle has produced this 3,666 litres of manure. We haven't had to muck out any of them, or none of that malarkey. So that comes from the 2 barns. Obviously the pasture you don't get manure from because you don't put straw in, but you just got to put it close enough for it to be attached, if you want to call it that way. Close enough for it to work anyway. That's manure as well. Excellent. And there you are. That's the cows for you. So you choose which one you want to do. If you want to go down the robot option, it might be slightly more expensive buying the barn in the first place, and you've also got to have the mineral feed as well. But that's it. That's cows for you. Right, so from me, cows are done, and I'll see you in the next one.